What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B. You watching DaveBeyondTV. Where we go beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And you know what I'm saying? We coming off the new moon, talking about the moon being in Cancer at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of homie vibes, a lot of private conversations going on due to the fact, you know what I'm saying, we're still in the later end of Gemini season. So Gemini coming to a close. We're going into Cancer season, so that vibe is already starting to get a little heavier. But again, it can either be heavy for you or just starting to shift towards more, you know, it's different kinds of needs going on with the moon. You know what I'm saying? The moon really is cool as long as you understand the emotional needs of yourself and of the situation around you, understanding, you know, what the reality of the situation around you is. Because the thing is, it opposes Capricorn. Capricorn deals with, that's like Saturn energy. So it's like talking about the reality of situations. And sometimes Cancers, you know, they want to feel comfortable, but the reality of the situation is that it's an uncomfortable situation. So then you have to lean on what the power of Cancer really is. The power is always in your modality. Now, when I say power, don't let it go to your head and think that, you know, this is you being able to be better than another sign. This is just your, you know, what you could do that's different from the other signs. But as a spirit, it's, you know, remember, astrology is a tool. So you as a spirit are the one who's doing the magic. The sign itself is just simply a nature. So everybody plays out their natures differently, but we share natures. This is how we can relate to each other. However, our unique way of doing it is what actually matters and what differentiates us from the next individual who got the same sign as you and all this other stuff. Your upbringing, your experience, your awareness is what makes you different, right? But before we even get into that, just speaking of what I was talking about, the power of Cancer is in the modality. When you want to understand your sign's power, look at the modality. In this case, it's cardinal. So that means its power is to initiate things, meaning that you have the power to shift your mood. The power of Cancer is to be able to create a comfort zone wherever they are, not, oh, let me just hide into this one comfort zone. See, that's the surface level, lower octave natures where you become, you know, extremely moody and you expect other people to cater to your feelings, to cater to your mood. And that's just not the reality of the situation. That's not what people are here for. And you can never control that. You know what I'm saying? Even if you get away with it here and there with the little petty relationships you have in your life at the moment, you'll always find yourself extremely alone or put in a situation where you get embarrassed for it or get put in a situation where you got to be exposed or, you know, again, not getting what you want on some level. So you have to keep that in mind, especially as you're going about these different energies and doing what you do on a daily basis. All of these things play a part. Now, see, with this energy in particular, it's important to note a lot is happening with Jupiter. Jupiter is in a powerful space right now. If you are willing to expand, if you're willing to look at your experiences and do the different things that a lot of that Taurus energy is needed from you at the moment. And the reason I say that is because Jupiter sits right there, right? Currently, Jupiter is making an exact sextile to Saturn. So Saturn right there is an opportunity for you to be able to expand on discipline, expand on structure, expand on different things that, again, those are all energies of Pisces. I mean, not Pisces, of Saturn. Now, Saturn being in Pisces, meaning that right now we've all been associating reality with our dreams. And a lot of the energy in Gemini, that square that we've been dealing with, is really trying to get us to think clearly about the situations and circumstances that we're realistically going through. So there's the frustration there is coming through thinking through these illusions and being able to pay attention to them. Like I was saying before in the previous video, conversations that can actually help you see whether or not you're in an illusion or not. And I know that you can have all the conversations in the world and still not come to that conclusion. And it's always an ongoing thing, meaning that you never really know if you're in an illusion or not, unless you are actively putting it into practice and being aware of the responses and reactions you get from the world as things happen. Pancake? Nah, thanks. So if you're looking at the different reactions you get from the world and you're seeing like, okay, yeah, this is working, this is not working, that's how you actually understand whether or not you're in an illusion. But it takes a process. It takes time. It takes you going through the trials and tribulations of things in order for you to get to that. And so you can't be afraid of it and shun away and run away from your imaginations, because a lot of times what happens is you might not want to face the reality of whether your dream or what you're building is an illusion or not. So you'll avoid participating in it or expressing it to other individuals. And see, right now, it's actually more important for you to express these things so that you understand, so that you do understand whether or not, you know what I'm saying, really understand what's going on for yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you aren't putting these things into practice or putting these things out in the world, you'll always find yourself kind of in a situation where, you know, you have to see, it's almost like you build this fantasy land for you, and it could come crashing down when you start to realize that, okay, yeah, you've been building this beautiful dream isolated from everybody, but you know, you've been so isolated to the point where, you know, you really are in an illusion that like it has no, because like when you're not participating in it, when you're not putting it out into the world and sharing it with other individuals to where other people are aware of it, it has no choice but to still be a fantasy to you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you be thinking you the best rapper alive, but you never put out a song. So the time you do put out a song, there's so much anticipated energy that you didn't express. It's almost like, you know, it could be very devastating if you put it out and don't get the response that you've built up in your mind for it. So right now, this could be happening with your actual reality, where being that this energy is dealing with Saturn, it's like you could be building this idea, this dream for yourself, and being that you're not actually getting out there, going through the trials and tribulations of, and when I say trials and tribulations, I mean putting it out there to be rejected. You think that it's safer to keep it in the confines of your safety, your comfort zone, but you not actually putting it on the chopping block to be examined, scrutinized, and interacted with people in the world, because we live in this world. You put yourself at a disadvantage because you basically, again, it's the rejection and things of that nature that build up the substance that actually makes your dream or whatever you're doing mean something. Nobody who's done anything notable has done it without taking the risk and going through the ridicule and rejection and that process itself. So like I was saying previously, you know, the emphasis right now is appreciating the actual process of things, learning how to appreciate the process. That's the learning how to appreciate the process when it comes to the things that we love and appreciate, and getting the support back from what we express, and also expressing our passions due to that square that Leo is making with Taurus. And the signs in there is Venus, love, appreciation, and value. Mars, motivation, passion, what we put out into the world as far as our intentions and how we go and take things for ourselves. So these things are being put on that. Again, we're putting certain things on the stage, and we have to actually appreciate the process of it. So going through that difficulty, again, is building the substance within you to actually have something of value to put out into the world after these transits shift. Now, being that, again, going back to what I was saying about the energy of Jupiter, sextile and that Saturn, being able, the opportunity to expand on discipline towards what it is that you're building as a dream for yourself. If you're not expanding on discipline, this is going to be you trying to escape the responsibilities and expanding on, again, escaping responsibilities on that thing you're trying to build as a dream. So you're going to find all the excuses in the world to not actually go through the process or experience the process of building that thing. And that is directly, again, that's planting bad seeds for you. Another thing, we're going into Cancer season. So the sun is going to sextile Jupiter, expanding on comfort. This could lead you to want to procrastinate. This could lead you to want to shy away from the world based upon you being stuck in a mood and not realizing the power of Cancer is to shift, initiate, and change your mood. Now, the sun is going to be trining Saturn too. So, you know, there's an opportunity. There's a lot of power in this energy because this is heavy manifestation energy already off the bat. You know, the moon is what we manifest through. So you got to consider the fact that, again, this energy could either be your best friend or your worst nightmare based upon how you interact with it. If you take this Cancer energy and shy and close in and try to hide into a comfort zone, you're going to feel that impact. And it might feel good for the time being. You might be able to hide away. It might be nice and soothing every now and then for yourself. But you'll start to see later on down the line when you're trying to participate things, especially when Leo season gets here and it's time to actually express ourselves, you're going to find yourself at a disadvantage due to you not actually doing what the moon needs you to do, which is creating a new comfort zone. Remember, this whole year, what we've been experiencing is part of building our body in a new world. And so there's been a lot of shifts going on. And we talked about this being the closing of the spring months. So now we're going into the summertime. The summertime is where you need to be fully invested in whatever you gave birth to in the spring. But if you planted a lot of bad seeds in the spring, you might not know what to invest your time in now because you didn't start anything. You didn't plant no seeds, so you don't have no sprouts coming out the ground to let you know, oh, okay, this is going to be a prosperous fruit, or it has the potential to be. So let me give extra care and nurture into this. Also with Cancer season, that's the thing too, care and nurture. So we need to learn how to care and nurture our gifts at the moment. We need to learn how to change our feelings on mistakes that we've made. This is going to be the sun and currently the moon squaring Chiron and Aries. Learning how to take care and change how we feel about old mistakes. It's time to let those things go. It's time to put that aside and start to move forward. The sun and the moon right now, soon the sun, right? I'm kind of, I be thinking ahead because it's all progression. So eventually we're going to get to a point where currently and then later on with the sun, we're in a situation where there's an opportunity for us to feel more comfortable on our spiritual path. So this is a time in which really you want to work on committing to whatever it is path that you're on. You want to work on whatever you don't feel comfortable with. If it's something that you know you need to do deep down inside, it's time to actually initiate that comfort and go through the process of dealing with those uncomfortable feelings so that you can put yourself in a position to rock the stage how you need to rock it. When you change the mood, because think about it, Cancer goes right into Leo. You can't rock the stage unless you've created that safety within yourself, and to rock it confidently, what I'm saying? When a performer gets on stage, that confidence don't just come out of nowhere. That's something that they had to initiate from. And then again, a lot of that energy in Taurus can be used as an opportunity to put things into practice so that now, again, by investing into the process of things, you developed even if you are still nervous when you get on stage, you have rehearsed that shit 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. So there is actually nothing to be afraid of, and that can give you even more confidence because when you get up, it's second nature. And that's what Taurus really is trying to emphasize through Jupiter, the actual planet of experience and wisdom, knowledge, learning. Through the process, you are actually learning a lot of information or a lot of things that you can't, is invaluable. It's like something that is priceless. A lot of the actual process right now. So we have to really learn how to appreciate that shit so that we can do what we need to do when the time calls for it. And then when we get into Leo season, it's going to be the all-out expression. Now, right now, we're in that new moon period. We're in the waxing period. So we need to be putting in this energy. Right now, you might not feel up to do certain things based upon the emotional vibe of the day. Now, today in particular is a numerology 5 day, right? Get into some astronumerology, right? Go ahead and get you a Daestar planner so you know what energies is happening, you know what I'm saying? And you could plan, predict, and again, not predict in a harmful sense and creating expectations, but predict as far as just understanding the energy flows you need to be in order to get with the program, in order to ride the wave how you need to ride it. Now, getting back to what I was saying, with this energy going on, right? It's like we're going into this Cancer season. Oh no, I was talking about the new moon shift. So right now you might not feel comfortable with a lot of different things that you have on your plate as far as responsibilities or just the circumstance you're in, especially if you haven't been accumulating the material things that make yourself feel secure on that level. So you need to separate yourself a little bit from the physical aspects and start to get into some of the internal reasons as to why you're not manifesting. Understand this, where you need to shift your mood in order to create the opportunity to actually be in the right space for you to manifest things in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you might be so focused on what you don't have at the moment, especially storage is whooping my ass, but at least with the North Node being in Taurus and things of that nature, putting our spiritual path within the lens of what we're manifesting physically, so it can cause a lot of discouragement. And right now we're just going through that fight of really establishing a new sense of stability for ourselves on all levels. So this is going to start really affecting you due to, you know, the fact that Taurus and Cancer both share that need for security, safety, comfort. You know what I'm saying? The moon is actually exalted in Cancer. So right now, it's like it's going to be very important for you to understand your emotional state and take this time today to actually hone in on these things so that tomorrow, during Mars Day, the 6th energy, you'll be able to direct that. Your intentions to have a lot more of a sharp, proper starting point and a sharp point that you can aim and actually direct in the proper areas. Right now, this Gemini energy can keep you scattered. The Cancer energy can make you emotional about the different ideas that's dragging you in different ways. And so before you know it, your emotions have been all over the place. You're manifesting a bunch of chaos for yourself. And then tomorrow is going to turn into, again, that 6th energy where it needs you to direct that energy. Mars Day in Leo, direct that shine and attention in a certain area. You're not going to actually know what direction to shift it or to point it in. And the moon still being in Cancer, you might still be feeling that lingering of uncomfortability, not really feeling confident, wanting to hide away at a time in which we need to actually get ourselves out of that habit of wanting to shy away from things. New moon brought a new mind, a new way to think. So everything in this new moon cycle is predicated upon your thoughts. You need to understand that, okay, if I am getting feelings to make me want to shy away from the stage, what thoughts are leading me there? And where have I allowed outdated thoughts to remain and keep me in that space? And where have I not put depth to certain thoughts and initiated new ways to think? Because that's really what that new moon needs us to do, and where it's putting on the, it's really what it's putting emphasis on, you know what I'm saying? So we have to keep that into mind. Again, it's like a new mind that we're building for ourselves. So this is a challenging thing, because the thing about this energy, right, is all about, you know, how, because the way you think, you got to think about it like Gemini energy is a lot deeper than a lot of people consider, because it's really like the thoughts and feelings that you frequent. These things become common and familiar. So it really, those be the stem. Like you think about, the third goes into the fourth. What you frequent as a familiarity mentally is what becomes your comfort zone, or your idea of your feeling, your comfort in what you consider home and shit like that. So you have to start with rewiring your mind at the moment in order for your feelings to start to take the shape and form of the new structure. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, you know, you get a little bit of that masculine energy from the air, the logic, even though it's still air. It's not practicality, but the logic is what can create firm lines, right? Just that idea of the masculine energy creating a container on some level. Even though it's mental, it's air, it's still like, you know, but it's a mental container that your feelings can start to reside in, you know what I'm saying? And so you're dealing with mutable air and cardinal water. So changing adaptable thoughts and ideas in order to create new, initiating and shifting feelings into like a new comfort zone. So right now it's just a matter of understanding that any problems that are arising are probably coming from you mentally not being able to separate yourself from outdated thoughts. You mentally not, you know, you still entertaining thoughts and feelings that's looking like old patterns, old familiarity. And so that's going to be where you're going to feel the most, like, you know, difficulty. But see, here's the thing, it's going to seem like that's the easy thing to do, go to old outdated thoughts, but you're not going to see now how it's really affecting you until we get into probably when the moon gets into the square sign. So the next square sign would be Virgo, when you're starting to look at the details of things and you start to take that moon energy, and it's going to be trining Pluto, and it's going to be trining Uranus, North Node, and Jupiter. So it's going to be, you know, you're going to feel the need to transform, to shift. But again, you're going to see all the details of the things you didn't shift. If you're still in old, outdated thoughts, this is going to cause more anxiety towards these things, and you might actually shy away from these things due to just it being too much built up and accumulated energy that you didn't take the time to actually change at the time it was supposed to. You know what I'm saying?
Eat pancakes.
Eat pancakes?
Yeah, pancakes good.
Pancakes good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you're taking that initiative and doing what you need to do in order to put yourself in that better space. And it starts now. It's easy to kind of, again, you got to think sometimes, like, it's so easy to go towards the old stuff and what feels good. But again, we have to be very aware of that. What feels good isn't always the right thing to do. Some, especially now, you know what I'm saying? This is a lot of uncomfortable energy, and the sun and moon right now are going to be opposing Pluto. Pluto's back in Capricorn, and Saturn is retrograde. So there's actually a powerful gift here to shift the way we're structuring certain things. And even going back to that sextile that Saturn is making with Jupiter, expanding on the responsibilities or the awareness of those responsibilities that you know you need to tend to that you wasn't previously. Saturn retrograde in Pisces is actually powerful because whenever that planet, whatever planets are retrograde in Pisces, it reverses that Pisces fantasy like land look to everything. The rose-colored glasses have to be taken off in order for that retrograde to take place. So a lot of times retrogrades actually help Piscean energy just because it puts you back in that space of having a balance with reality in a sense. You know, it slows things down long enough for you to identify, oh, this is a fantasy, this is an illusion. Boom. So that energy right there, right, can help. And then that Saturn energy, like I was going to say, that Saturn energy, or the moon opposing, before we get there, or, you know, I kind of talked about that retrograde, but for the most part, it's like that moon energy opposed Pluto is, we're seeing where it's like, in order to fit that status that you're establishing for yourself, we already know that transformations need to be made. Pluto's in retrograde. So we're already understanding that, okay, there's things I need to take power control over if I want my status to actually work for me. That's going to have to balance out with your emotional state at the moment. And you're going to have to overcome a lot of the things that tend to lead you down the same old patterns based upon you just wanting to feel comfortable at the moment. So this is going to be a time period. And we've been dealing with a Pluto opposition in Capricorn in Cancer season for the longest. It's been like that for the longest. So this ain't nothing new. But this is an energy that we need to, but it is new in a sense because this is dealing with the retrograde and the last bit of this. This is probably the last time we're going to be dealing with this kind of energy in Cancer season. So right now, you want to make sure it's a proper send-off, aka you're doing the balance the right way. You've had time to really sort this out. So at this point in time, the shift, the emotional shift, is more so you still being committed to taking power control over your status regardless of your feelings, and being able to actually use your feelings to create more balance when it comes to the things you're trying to transform, the new status that you're initiating for yourself. So right now it's really just, you know, that's the whole thing. It's like we need to be able to take our emotions at the moment and to create a new form of dealing with these things based upon how we're thinking. This new way of thinking is going to be what we need to utilize to take care of these thoughts, and it's going to be able to shift because you take care of your mind and take care of you. Your mind is an extension, something you created. So think about it as a pet. You know what I'm saying? You treat your pet right, you pour into your pet, or even a child. You pour into your child the right way, your child is supposed to grow up and take care of you. So you have to think of your mind as your child and your thoughts as children as well. So proper thoughts that you pour into that are actually healthy ones that you invest the proper time and nurture into, these things will come back to benefit you in some way, especially if you have some kind of creative idea. Right now is the time to put these creative ideas out that could probably get you money, stability, and all these things in the material that you might be looking at right now that you want to accumulate for the sake of feeling, you know, but detached from the idea that these things make you spiritual. And if you lack these things at the moment, don't let that discourage you. Let it motivate you to shift and change certain things so that you can be in a space to utilize your mind for prosperity and producing certain things, because your mind is what motivates your body. So if you think of these, your mind is where, if you do have some kind of creative idea in your mind, don't start to produce thoughts and feelings that make you discouraged about it or not want to do it. Use those thoughts and feelings to produce ideas that's actually going to get that thing done in reality. And that's where it starts at. And again, like I said, it all comes from you birthing a new mind, but taking the initiative to do that and creating a new comfort zone from that. So, that's going to be the biggest thing. Let me make sure I hit everything. You know, we talked about the Aries energy, talked about Taurus. Uranus is in there. So opportunity to initiate comfort when it comes to our uniqueness and individuality. That's key. Uranus, North Node, Talked about Jupiter expanding on that, so expanding on comfort zones, but don't take that in the wrong sense. Expand on the comfort zone within the experience of going through the uncomfortability, not expanding on the comfort zone as in doing more shit that's just comfortable to you without actually putting yourself out there and going through the trials and tribulations and experiences of the process and what it takes, the actual projection, putting things out in the air for it to be responded to. Don't take that route. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't run away from what you know you need to experience and go back to a comfort zone. Jupiter, we talked about Gemini energy, Mercury there, you know what I'm saying? Mercury just chilling right there, still working mental energies, but with the square with Saturn retrograde, there's not a lot of rewiring mentally we're doing there too. And when Mercury shifts into Cancer, you know, it's going to be important that we made these shifts now where it's still light and able to be flexible, because when our mentality goes into Cancer, it's going to turn into really having intimate conversations. We're going to be really sensitive about what it is that's coming out of our mouth, and it's really going to be a speaking things into existence time. So you want to make sure you're doing the work now while the mind is still malleable, still mutable, still able to, you know, Mercury's still in a space where it can change, it can be flexible, it can get other information and create a better sense of things based upon the many different ways it's interacting with conversations and analytics and things of that nature. Gemini, Cancer, talked about the Leo energy, talked about Virgo, nothing's going on in Virgo, for Libra, Scorpio, Sag, nothing, Sag, Capricorn, talked about Pluto, and then Aquarius, Pisces, Saturn, and Neptune. Yeah, and that Neptune energy, again, is just like, you know, Neptune is like a lot of those creative ideas and stuff like that. So, you know, the illusion is going to come from you wanting to cling to that old comfort zone. And that old comfort zone, you probably clinging to it because your thoughts are not, you haven't changed your way of thinking. So, you know, just understand that with the sun trine and that Neptune energy is great for creativity, but it can be detrimental to your progress if you are letting that illusion encompass your mind, and it's going to come from you wanting to feel comfortable. So just be aware of that. And you know, we're going to keep on going to each moon cycle. The next moon cycle going to be in Leo. So right now, understand that all this initiating and creating a new way to feel and deal with your emotions, new comfort zones and things of that nature, is leading you, is for the sake of building confidence, so that when the moon gets into Leo, you'll be a lot more confident in your form of expression. So consider that. If any uncomfortable feelings are going on now, today and tomorrow, use this energy to put yourself in a better state of being so that you can stand on that stage with pride, and not toxic pride, not ego, but with confidence and certainty in yourself and power in your expression, where your voice commands attention, not the other way around. You crying for attention because you're insecure and you're not rocking the stage how you should be, and people feel that way. People respond to how you're acting. You know what I'm saying? They're like, I ain't watching this. You know, you wonder why you ain't able to rock the stage how you want. It's because people can feel when you're not confident, and it's coming out in your performance. So keep that in mind. Stay safe. Much love. If you trying to book a reading, you know, you could DM me or at DaveBeyondTV on, you know, IG, Twitter, all the social media platforms. You can head to my website, DaveBeyond.com, or you can email me at Dave795ab@gmail.com. And I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Much love, and I'll catch you on the next one. Also, be on the lookout for, you know, go ahead and get your 717 tickets. Peace Dealer's going to be there in Atlanta. Yeah, it's going down, you know what I'm saying? So please come through, spiritual people, astrologists. If you're into these different things and you're in Atlanta during July 15th, come through, slide through, see some live performances, interact with the soul group. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be building mentally, building spiritually, and getting some real stuff going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Much love. Catch y'all there. Peace.